Hello, 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 everybody. I'm going to look and see if I'm actually live. If I am, please say so in the chat. I have been struggling to go live through my laptop, but I finally got a software that I hope actually gets me live. But let's see. Let's see if you all see me. Let me go here and see what's going on. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like I'm live. I see 4 of you saying that you're there. Can you see me? Let's see what you all say. And we'll see if we get a reply on this. Because if not, I'm going to be so stinking frustrated. I don't know why. Hilda, can you see me? Can you see me? Is the answer no? Is the answer no? You can see me, Hilda. I'm live. I'm actually live on YouTube. Is that a yes? Hey, StreamYard. Look at this. Dream Realty Group. Yo, Ed Reyes. Yo, look, I can even do this. Watch this. Ready? Watch. Dream Realty Group. Here, look. Yo. This is so cool. This is like so modern and cool. Look, I can put, let's see. Who else said hi here? C said at the Prodigy version 2. I could put it on screen. Somebody said something crazy. Just say something crazy so I can put it on screen. Something funny, crazy, stupid, ridiculous. Call me a name. Whatever you want to do. I'm going to put it on screen. The craziest thing I see that you post or the funniest, I'm going to put it on screen. So let's see who's got the most creativity on Halloween today. And then we're going to dive into the topic. I promise. But right now, come on. All right. I'll give it to Lewis. Lewis said something crazy. I could see, this sounds so like aggressive, Denise. I could see you, gringo. It's like a horror movie line. I see you, gringo. And you hear me okay, it sounds like. Yo, again, I'm always in DR. Need to link up when I come back, gringo. LOL, Dream Realty Group. Do they play tonight, Jeanette? Blue Jays? Is that tonight that they play? I'm not sure. We got a friend from Puerto Rico. Hello. What is that? Arnaldo Mendez. Arnaldo Mendez. There we go, Lewis. I like it. He gave me I said, say something crazy. And he said something crazy. This is really cool. Look at this. I got to figure out how to screen share and stuff like that. But the software I'm using is called StreamYard. And it just sort of like plugs me into YouTube. Nicholas, I don't know why YouTube would crash, but it would always crash. I don't know why, but it would. So it would. But anyway, for those of you that are watching, drop in the chat where you're from. Where are you watching from? And then we're going to talk about some of this. Here you go, Renaissance man. Government for the people. Is that crazy enough? I don't know. We'll talk about the topic of DR. And there was a question that came up that I wanted to like kind of riff on and go into. I saw you in the Bronx, Carmen. Without a photo, like if I see a picture, Kissimmee, Florida, we got. If I see a picture, I'll know, but otherwise it's hard to remember. Yeah, where are you from? Where are you all coming from? Where are you dialing in from? Who's the furthest out? And then the other thing I would ask you, what are you doing for Halloween? I'm going to be like high on Sour Patch Kids in about 6 hours. You're going to be seeing me walking around like Dave Chappelle, scratching my neck with like some Sour Patch Kid sugar around my lips. That'll be me in about 6 hours. Watching you from Barcelona. Is it Barcelona? Barcelona. Look at that. V. Goller. Good to see you out there. I'm having so much fun with this. Like I'm going to click on everybody. Mal Valverde, Ed Reyes. What is this? Clarified the real estate frauds. Nielsen, what do you mean? What does that mean? Clarified the real estate frauds. Can you expand on that? Because we can go into a question on that if you want to. I'm American just visiting. Got you. Jersey here. We got people coming from all over the place. Okay. Cool. All right. I see 40 of you on the live right now, and I'm sure more will jump in as we go along. My wife's messaging me because I lost my water bottle at the gym, but she found it. There it is. And then she left me a voice message. I can only imagine the vitriol in that voice message. It's only 9 seconds. Should I play it? Should I see what she said? No, I'm not going to play it. All right. Here's what we are going to discuss. Stephen D, we can get into that. Here's what we're going to discuss. Yesterday, there was a meeting amongst the top 2 economies in the world. That is the United States and where is this? And China, of course, and more specifically between the leaders of each of those countries, Xi and Trump. So those two met, and everything I saw, and some of you might have gotten more in the weeds on it, but if I were to like level set this, essentially what they came away with was, let's cool it down. So it wasn't like a trade agreement. It wasn't like some sort of big, like, oh, hey, we figured it out, but let's settle it down. So I think the Chinese are going to start buying soy again from the United States. And I didn't even know that was a thing, if I'm being completely honest. And the US is like not enhancing the tariffs or lowering the tariffs down or whatever on China. So it was just like a general cooling. So the question that came up, I'm trying to find where I put it. The question that came up, maybe it's right here. No, was, with all that's going on in the world, let's see if I can find this real quick. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can share. You guys got to just like, bear with me. It's my first time on this StreamYard platform, so I'm trying to figure out how to use it. Over here, media assets. Now, look at this cool stuff. Watch this. Hold on. Like and subscribe. Look at that. There's a way to share. I got to find that. But anyway, it essentially said, hey, with all this going on in the world, and it didn't give any context on that, what they mean by all this going on in the world, what does it mean for like real estate value and the economy in the Dominican Republic? And let me be really clear. There's only one answer to this. Only one answer that's honest and real. And I want to give it to you now, and then we're going to go deeper on it. The answer is, I have no idea, nor do any of you. None of us do. That said, I do think that we can read into what's going on in the US a little bit, what's going on in this trade war with China, and what's happening down here. And this is where I got to get better at this at StreamYard, so that I could figure out how to share screen and do like whiteboards. I'll work on it. For the next live, you're going to see more and more advanced, even stuff like this. Welcome, everybody. Or I've got breaking news. But even better, like and subscribe. Actually, when you hit the like button, this gets some reach. So if you don't mind hitting that heart button a little bit, just if you're on your phone, just tap it 20, 30 times or whatever. It gets us more reach. But for right now, let's talk through all the dynamics. So here's what is happening in the world. Based on this question that I got, like with all that's happening in the world, here's my take on what's happening in the world. I believe that there's a lot of uncertainty. I believe that there is a lot of angst about what might come, but I also believe that there is some level of stability that people don't want to acknowledge. News doesn't want to put out like, hey, actually, some of the stuff isn't so bad. And let me give you an example. The tariff policy that was put in place at the beginning of the year, when it happened, I was over here going like, oh boy. All right, maybe we should hold some dry powder, as they say. Save some money, put it on the side, because like you're going to tariff the world. This economy is going down for a while. We're about to go into the throes of recession. That didn't happen. What did happen, we've learned now, is tariffs are essentially a gun to the head. And the bullet may or may not fire, right? It may not actually fire. And that's what Trump has done with tariffs. So the reality of his tariff policy is it hasn't sank the world's economy. In fact, if anything, it started to level it out a little bit and bring people to the negotiating table. So you don't have to like Trump. I have opinions on him. There's some good, there's some bad. But specifically on tariff policy, it is not catastrophic like many of us thought it might be. Even if you're the biggest Trump advocate, you might have thought like, tariffs are going to be really hard on the world economy. And they haven't been to the extent that I would have thought. There's been some hardship along the way. There are dips and pops and all of that stuff every time he makes news, and he's all over the place. I get it. But I think there's a little bit of method to the madness. And I think what he's doing is essentially using the biggest economy in the world to bully the rest of the world into getting what he wants. And I think that is reasonable. If I have the most money in a situation that I'm in, you're damn straight I'm going to leverage it to make sure that my business, my family benefit most. I get that. I completely get that. I'm looking at some of the comments. All right, so that's one. The second thing is I got to get rid of this like and subscribe banner. Sorry, I think I left it on by accident. Yeah, I did. The second thing that is interesting to me is this meeting between Trump and Xi, as I said at the beginning, cooled the war between the U.S. and China on tariffs. I haven't looked at the Dow today, but I would imagine my guess would be that it's up or stable. Let me take a look here at the Dow Jones and see what it did. It's slightly down actually on the day. That's interesting. I wonder what the news is. Is there new news? Market outlook is DJ considered safe haven. Dow Jones holds steady as Fed tempers. Oh, that's why. Okay, yeah. So then, okay. The Dow did go up on the news of like cooling. The third thing that that was yesterday. The third thing that I saw was the Fed announcing that they're likely not, but there's a very good chance that they are not going to lower rates again for the rest of this year. That's different. That's different. Janata, I know bully in general. People get very emotional at the mere mention of the word Trump. They do. And what I try to do on this channel is like, let's just remove that and let's just look at policy. I really, really try to do that. Of course, I have my leanings. I'm more like, if I talked about myself politically, I'm center conservative, center right. That's always been me. I don't believe in big government. I don't want big taxes. So I consider myself like I don't want to say that weird, like fiscally conservative, socially liberal, because I'm not. I'm probably socially centrist, fiscally conservative. But I don't like the emotion around the names like Kamala, Trump. She's an idiot. He's the best. He's an idiot. She's the best. Doesn't make any sense. The point is, the policy has not created the chaos that many analysts believe that it has. Then you've got the cooling between these two countries, which I believe is strategic on Trump's part. He's calling it a 12 out of 10 meeting, all of that. He wants all of us to know that, you know, he is flexing on China and that he got something, even if it looks like he really didn't get much. And then the last part is the Fed rates. Fed cut the rates twice, from what I could tell, right? I think it was August, September, they made 2 cuts. I want to say a half point total, but I'll be very honest with you. I was tracking it only somewhat as I was getting a mortgage down here. But more importantly, yesterday, Powell said there is very little certainty about another rate cut before the end of this year. Whereas before, a month or two ago, he was saying probably, you know, up to 5 rate cuts by the end of the year. And now we're 2 and maybe done. That gives the market a little bit of that choppiness that we're going through right now. So we'll talk about massive layoffs here in a second. So when you think about why the Fed would not lower rates, I mean, you can conjure any thought up that you want. But at the end of the day, when the Fed says we're good, we're going to hold right here and not lower rates, what they're seeing is some level of stability in the economy. They're not seeing the need to yank the lever. Not right now, maybe. They didn't say they won't lower rates by the end of the year. But the reversal is sort of like, oh, we're going to lower them a bunch. Look where the jobs reports are going. There were very few jobs created. Prior jobs reports were adjusted down. So it all looked bad, right? But the Fed is saying, but wait a minute. We don't see the need to cut rates maybe one more time this year like we initially thought we would. Let's hold, potentially. Let's see what happens by December. A lot can happen between now and then. Maybe they do yank them down a bit, but they could hold steady. And that means that the Fed is saying, I'm not so sure we want to yank this lever just yet. Okay. So when you look at all of those variables, it indicates that the Q4 into Q1, Q2 economic outlook, honestly, is likely stronger than maybe some want to admit. And what I mean is we may be entering a period of time of prosperity, of economic, the economy going up. Now, if we do, the obvious impact on DR is that travel, tourism, everything else. But let's go the other way. I didn't want to just say like, hey, everything's going to be great, because it could go down. Now, let's say it does. So let's talk about how the Dominican Republic reacts. My take, I said at the beginning, if you're just joining, the answer on what happens in the future is I don't know. I don't know. But I want to talk about what could happen if it goes up or what could happen. If it goes up, everything goes up. So no need to even talk about that. If it goes down, let's talk about that. The Dominican Republic's historic tourism and real estate injury has been centered around one word. One word. That word is budget. Budget. Lower cost. Oh my God, you can go to this country and stay in an all-inclusive for $100 a night, right? Like it's always been inexpensive here to travel here. The recent moves made by, large development groups, by the government. I mean, look at Sosua. Like what they're doing in Sosua, what it appears they're doing in Sosua, clearing it out, taking out the sex tourism industry and embedding what looks like likely in time, not now, but as time goes on, as real estate there turns over, more of a family or luxury dynamic in a place like Sosua. And I've said it before on here, when you're looking at it pragmatically, on this side, you got Punta Bergantin with the biggest investor being Grupo Punta Cana, which is the #1 money investor in the country as far as development. On this side, you got Rio San Juan, which has massive development coming with A-Rod's group. That's been well publicized. Cabrera is right next to that, which has always been and continues to be a very luxury destination. Cabarete is sort of like an expat spot right there, but then you got this sort of black mark that was Sosua with this element on a beach. It just doesn't work. So the government going in and saying, all right, let's clear this out by all of those that live up there and have lived up there for a long time. I haven't. I've only been in DR 3 years, and it's all in Punta Cana, right? I've traveled there. I've gone to a lot of places, but I'm not from there. I don't live there. But those that do live there, creators, people, Instagram people, whatever, they all seem to say the same thing. We've seen raids, not like this one. This one is different. This one has staying power. They're trying to redo Sosua. And the worst, the people that feel the worst about it are like, oh, all they're doing is clearing it out so that the government elites and their buddies can buy the cheap real estate. And that might be true. But even if they do, they're going to sell it to developers who are going to create more luxury. So when you look at like cheap to expensive as far as travel and real estate, DR has always been like they've always catered to this down here, like on the cheap end. But as you see St. Regis in Cap Cana, the Westin Hotel in Punta Cana Resort, what's the new one coming to Punta Cana Resort? I think it's a Four Seasons. When you see what's happening in places like Jarabacoa, when you look at Miches, when you look at what's happening on the North Shore, Rio San Juan, Punta Bergantin in Puerto Plata, when you look at the money that's being spent, Zemi that just opened in Miches, by the way, owned by the owners of Grupo Punta Cana, follow that money. When you look at that, again, expensive, cheap. This is where I need to draw it. In the future, I'll have like a whiteboard. Expensive, cheap. DR is always serviced down here. Always been, you could come to a Punta Cana resort or something or on the North Shore, and it's so inexpensive. Same with real estate. Oh my God, you can get beachfront for 80 grand. Not anymore. Somebody messaged me yesterday and said, hey, I would love to buy around the airport, Punta Cana area. Can I get a small house for 300,000? I'm like, 2-bedroom condos are 375. I don't think so. You can get that in other parts, Vista Cana, so on and so forth, but you're not going to get that in the Punta Cana Village, Punta Cana Resort, Cap Cana area. You're just not a house, more than likely, unless it's maybe Las Canas. So the point is the country is going up market to cater to a luxury clientele. So this whole thesis, if things do go south, if the economy tanks in the next 2 or 3 quarters, that'll obviously have a negative effect on everyone. If the world economy goes down because of the Trump and Xi trade war or whatever it is. But the people that still spend money, the people that still have the disposable income, they are the mid-tier to luxury traveler. They're willing to spend $200, $300, $400, $500, $800 a night or $1,000 a night, like at the Hyatt Ziva and Zilara. Totally worth it, by the way. I met a guy today who rents out luxury villas for $12,000 a night, and they're full. The luxury tier is where the economic and real estate future lies, and the Dominican is building toward that. They're not isolating this. Some people are like, oh my God, they're all going here. No. They're not isolating those that are budget travelers. You'll have your options at Riu or Royalton or wherever you want to go. There will always be that. But what's new to DR and what they're hedging against is, well, if the person who has to scrimp and save $2 grand for the year to come no longer has that $2 grand due to job cuts, rise in price of groceries, rise in price of gas, whatever, then we don't have a market. But the person who makes 300 grand a year, they're willing to spend 10 on a luxury vacation for 3 or 4 nights or whatever it might be. So that is the deal. There's no way someone is paying $12K a night and they rent the entire month. No, of course not. I mean, first off, no way. No. Some of the people, listen, you have to get your head around the types of people that travel here. There are billionaires that come here. There are former presidents that come here that are very rich. Some do spend $12,000 a night and the whole month is booked. No way is strong. If you're asking about one person spending $12,000 a night for a month, I doubt it. They probably just pay a monthly rate. But do I think and know actually that, look, I rented a villa with a company called Volalto at $5,000 a night for a retreat that I hosted here. So $5,000 a night, 3 nights. And it was hard finding 3 nights on their calendar 6 months in advance. So $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 a night, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. So that's my take on where the future of real estate is going. But here's the key to it. And maybe I can find this real quick and do a share with you. Let me see if I can do this real quick. I'm going to show you something real quick if I can find it. I'm going to see if I can share it to make this a little bit more interesting and interactive for you. Let's do. Come on, where is it? I can't seem to find it. Is this it? Sure. We can use this one if I can get it to be large enough and share it with you. It's not working. Anyway, what I was going to share with you was if you look at housing trend graphs in any place, the United States, Dominican Republic, no matter where it is, the best of the best data over time, you're going to see it do this. You're not going to see it do this, right? So when I say prices still have momentum, that could in a year or 3-6 months, prices could drop. But if you're in for the long term, it really doesn't matter because those prices will go up over time. So that is the deal. That's everything. Let's go to some of these comments and questions, and I want to answer some of these. So I'm going to start. Let's go up here a little bit and see what I find, and then I can put it on screen. I'm so excited to do this. Watching from Nova Scotia. I was going to pass out candy, but I think I've just ate it. That was Denise. Denise, you're on blast. You ate all the kids' candy. That's insane. That's insane. Houston, Texas. Hello, Jamie. Thrilled to hear you. Good to see you. What is it? Saga Sayo. Long-time follower. Always good content. I appreciate that. Oh, look, there's a super chat. I've never had one of these before. Wait a minute. It's here. Travel POV. Oh, Travel POV. Good to see you. I appreciate that. Look at that. I'm $2 richer, everybody. I'm not sure if a market crash will happen, says Albert, but I would welcome it as an opportunity to get a good deal. However, I've been checking the prices in Santiago and Jarabacoa, and they are skyrocketing. Yeah, which, again, skyrockets, they come down to earth for sure. There's always an old saying, right? Timing the market versus time in market. You could buy today. It could go down in 6 months. But if you're buying today with the idea of having it in 10 years, then it really doesn't matter. It's the same thing with the stock market. Same thing with your 401k. I was honestly like flabbergasted in March when Trump did the tariff thing, and everybody's like, he just cost us $4 trillion or whatever it was, and 401k just emptied out. It's like, you're 38 years old. Who cares? You're not going to touch it now. And if you were of the age that you were going to retire at 65, if you go back to when you started investing at 25, even though it's down in March, it's way up from when you invested, right? So long-term always wins. So I get this. Prices are going up. I wouldn't be desperate to get in just in case because you feel like they're going to keep going up. But at the same time, I get it. Like I would struggle to time the market because I don't know. The other part about DR from a real estate perspective and even a tourism perspective is the flexibility it has in the world. Like as Americans, I think we get lost a little bit. You know, we get a little bit like tunnel vision on, A to B. DR, like the US is still the #1 visitor to DR, but there's less people visiting from the United States to the Dominican Republic this year. And yet tourism is at record levels because the Dominican Republic went to Argentina and they've tripled the amount of people that are visiting. And Russia, which used to send, I don't know, like 500,000-600,000 people a year as visitors, was down to like 60. And now they're creeping back up. China, they have opportunities with Chinese coming here, new flights to Paris, right? So you got to remember that it's an international destination. I was at a cultural fair at my kid's school, and they go country by country by country. There were over 30 represented there, everything from Senegal to the Dominican Republic. But when they said Spain, okay, everybody from Spain, like they had all the kids or whatever. Holy crap. There's a lot of Spaniards here, right? As Americans, we think like, oh, we're everything. Ton of Spaniards. Then they had Venezuela, ton of Venezuelans here. There's a ton of Colombians here. Like you got to look at DR as people think like it's defying a lot of logic for us as Americans. We think of bubbles, we think of bursting, we think of 08, whatever. But that's because we believe and we see the United States is like the only game sometimes. Guilty. Canada is coming here more because they don't want to go to the United States. They want to come down here instead of the U.S. So they're not going to Florida. They're coming to Jamaica, Dominican Republic, so on and so forth. And I mean, it just came to me, but like what happened in Jamaica is going to redirect people to DR that are going to travel. You know what I mean? Like I hate what happened in Jamaica. I'm not like celebrating that. Not a bit. In fact, a good friend of mine, Winthrop Wellington, he's been reporting on what's happened in Negril, and man, there's a high school just leveled, cleared out. You can see it on my Instagram stories. I don't like what happened there, but you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of momentum. Something like that happens in DR, a big hurricane like that here, like happened in Jamaica. Yeah, we have a different conversation to have for a period of time. But I wouldn't be desperate to buy, Albert. But at the same time, I mean, if I bought here when we moved here, I would have spent 200 grand less than I did now that we're buying. All right, here we go. Where you want the picture sent, Carmen? We're good. I don't know where. I don't know. Send it in Instagram so I can see you. Oh, that's because I met you in the Bronx. Like, what does that mean? I was like creeped out. Carmen, if you're still with me, we met in the Bronx. I said, I need a photo to see. Yeah, drop me an Instagram, DM me an Instagram. I'd appreciate that. Let's see. This person, look at that. I'm getting verified, edified, DFF 1523. I'm ahead of the curve when it comes to DR. Listen to people. Yeah, I don't know. Look, I think for me, I'm just here, right? I never pretend to be Dominican. I don't want to be Dominican. I want to be always respectful as a guest here in this country. I always want to add value to this country. And there's times that I know I touch on political topics. Some people don't like that. Like, you got to remember too, like, I'm balancing, my kids are Dominican and they live here, or half Dominican at least. And I want them to have the ability to have a future here, because this is where they're going to have friends, grow up. We bought a house, right? We're going to be living in that house likely through their high school years. Like, this is home for them. So, while some think I'm overstepping as a gringo, my kids and my wife, this is home. This is where they're growing up. So, part of me is like, go screw yourself. And the other part is like, I get it, but you have to look at the nuance. There's other creators out there that they go after me. You know of one, if you've been watching me, they come after me hard. Like, he shouldn't be talking about this. We gringos, we're just visitors here. This guy, he's just dangerous and he's going to get himself hurt. It's like, dude, you don't have kids. You moved here as a single guy to screw prostitutes, whatever the hell you did. And here you are telling me what I need to be saying. Have kids. Like, tell me in the chat. Tell me the day after you have kids, if your world, like, I remember people saying to me, before I had kids, you'll understand when you have kids. And I'd be like, shut up. Like, I can understand what having a kid is. Now, what an arrogant prick I was. Until I had a kid, I had no idea what having kids was. The books I would read about, the ways to raise them, about religion, things I never thought I'd talk about. So those that come after me, I'm like, if you have kids, let's talk. If you don't, fluff off. You've got your own life only. You're living for you. I've got a different criteria and agenda for me as far as what I want for this country, not to Americanize it at all, but only to just speak on different topics and all of that. So I got down the rabbit hole there. Double check Madam Sylvia not to turn off Wi-Fi. Yes. Thank you, Dan. She did that last time to me. I'm working hard out here, saving all of my money, trying to move back to the motherland. I hear you, Kay. It is what it is. It's something that we stumbled on. It wasn't like we had this grand plan. We just sort of kept taking action, and one day we could. So that's my best advice for you. All right. Oh, here, look at this. Look at Albert. I bought some NVIDIA and AMD. Smart. We shall see what happens. All right. Here's a good question. Zinc OO, I guess it is. What's your opinion of Santiago? I get a lot of people giving me guff like, oh, you hate Santiago. Like, no, I just wouldn't want to live there. That's just me. However, I'm going in a week to Santiago for the weekend with my family, and I'm going to be getting a full-on tour behind the scenes with a pretty well-connected guy there who invited me up there that I know, that I've gotten to know. Super, super nice guy. So there'll be videos on YouTube coming out about my tour of Santiago and on Instagram. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. Let's see. We had massive layoffs, I saw, for Carlos, and I don't wish that on anybody. So for those that are struggling, that are suffering, I don't wish that on anybody. Here's my thoughts on the government shutdown. Like, I wish, I really do. And if you agree with this, I want you to like smash that like button a bunch of times on this live. I wish, just like air traffic controllers and employees of the federal government don't get paid in a government shutdown, neither should the politicians. How in the world do the people making decisions on whether or not the government pays its people get paid? How does that happen? This isn't left, right. Both sides are to blame. There's always takes two to tango. I do have an opinion on who I think is more to blame right now, but that's just me. Both sides are to blame. That said, the fact that these politicians and department leaders get paid while those in their department don't, that is just absolute insanity. Let me know. Let me know what you all think about that. Let's see what else we got. Too many layoffs for the positive economy. Too many layoffs for positive economy. Yeah, notice I don't disagree. At the same time, I said before, and this is, again, some people are going to think I'm being indifferent to the plight of individuals, and I'm not. But I said before, I tend to be more center-right when it comes to fiscal and government. I do believe our government is bloated in the United States, heavily bloated. I do believe that efficiency is going to happen whether or not there's a government shutdown or whatever. So if those are the layoffs you're speaking of, I think that is that. The other side of that is, well, I'll leave it at that. I don't want anyone to suffer ever. And you can sit on both sides of this fence, I truly believe. And I do think that the government is bloated in the United States. So here we go. We got Santiago as a state of chaos. Construction equipment is visible everywhere, involved in numerous infrastructure building. Yeah, that's that. Look, chaos is like sometimes progress is chaos. In fact, all the time progress is chaos. There's something a lot of people say when I put stuff out there, like, oh, look, they're building this when NVIDIA was coming, and that people will be like, how about we fix the roads and bridges and pay people and get them out of poverty first, and then we do all the big stuff. And I'm like, that has never, ever happened in the history of humanity, ever. Never is there just like, oh, we're only going to focus on the low before we build the high. If you look at Singapore, where there's a major, huge semiconductor industry, Singapore, right? Or am I thinking of Taiwan? Whatever, one of those. My mind isn't working right now. They came out of poverty as a country by, yes, investing in infrastructure while simultaneously aiming high at the next industry. Like, you need to raise the floor, you need to raise the ceiling. You can't just, okay, let's get everything perfect, and then we'll bring in enterprise, and then we'll bring in, a capitalistic sort of push toward growth and jobs and all of that. You can't. You have to build the tourism industry for the luxury traveler at the same time that you're trying to make sure all the roads and bridges work. You have to bring in NVIDIA and an AI hub, which is what they're doing, at the same time as you're investing in solar and wind and getting your power plants to actually provide the power needed for NVIDIA. You got to do both. You can't sit down here and just fix everything before you go up. You need both. All of us do that in our regular lives. Every company does that. So when you do that, it does create chaos. 100%. It's chaos here in Punta Cana. Same thing with all the development. Let me see what else we got for questions. I got a question about my allergy doctor. Yeah, you're in Augusta. Oh, that's funny. The allergy doctor, I don't know the name of them. It's like the clinic for allergies. It's in Acropolis Mall, the Acropolis in Santo Domingo. Google it and you'll find it. But they have an office in Augusta, I was told. Let's see. Zinc here. Yeah. So I talked about a house that I rented for $5K a night for a retreat, not for me personally. And like I had to find 3 nights was really hard 6 months out. So that's how that goes. Let's see what we got here. I'm in New Jersey as well and have property in Cap Cana, in Golden Bear, trying to move down full-time soon. Congrats, DFF. I hope that happens for you. I see people from Montreal and so on. Let's see. Let me see what else we got here that are questions. New direct flight from Santiago to Spain. I didn't know that. Where to? Where in Spain? Barcelona, where the person is from that was on here, or somewhere else? Let's see. Canada is coming to DR big time. So many people change plans from US to DR, many Canadians. It's true. You see more and more North Shore in particular. Like the Canadians love the North Shore. They love it up there. Let's see what else we have here. Here we go. How is your Spanish after 2 years in the DR? About as bad as it is at 3 years in DR. This is just like, I have to commit to this. I was talking to somebody yesterday, like I should just hire a tutor 1 hour a day, like 9 a.m. every day, get on like a Zoom with a tutor and just speak Spanish. I grasp it. I understand it, right? Like when people are talking and then they're like, oh, sorry. I'm like, no, I got it. But then the moment you ask me to speak it, I sound, in English, it would be like, good, have good time, right? Like I sound like that back in Spanish. Like the understanding is much better. The speaking is the struggle, like converting it over and then saying it. That's the hard part for me, but it's okay. I would say it's surprising to some people when they hear me, and for others, like, why aren't you further along? But it is what it is. Did kids talk about going to US for college? My kids don't. Kids, a lot of parents want them to. If you were on my live last week, I talked about why I think that's like not the route anymore. I don't think college and getting a job is the future, which is why on the topic of layoffs, I'm like, we're going to see more and more and more and more as AI becomes a thing. And that's okay, as long as people understand that there's opportunities to add value and create IP, intellectual property. And I think our kids need to be educated more on that than they do how to get passing grades to get into an institution that's going to teach them how to do something that they've never done. I never understood sitting in college how my business professor went to high school, college, grad school, PhD, and then worked in college and is somehow teaching about entrepreneurship. Blew my mind. At 17, 18, 19 years old, blew my mind. That's why I never finished college. I went 3 times to try to start. I left after 2 weeks. I went part-time for a year while I worked on the second one. And then my last one, I was there a month and then left. A month and then left. Let's see. When it was more difficult than it is right now. As a father in Dominican, I wouldn't mind. As a father in Dominican, I wouldn't mind DR to be a bit Americanized, at least from the customer service level. I get that. I'm actually filming a video right now, and I'll give you guys a little bit of a preview on it, where, I'm 3 years, right? I have 44 years in the US, 3 years in the Dominican Republic. So I'm learning every single day. And I'm starting to see, like, on the spectrum of American to Dominican, as far as like the expectations, I'm starting to see and understand the spectrum a little bit more. So, like, here's an example. I do think it would be nice for certain things to be quote unquote Americanized, but I worry about the mindset of that. It feels a little bit like I'm in San Fran. This is ridiculous. I'm moving to Austin. And then when you get to Austin, like, why isn't it more like San Fran? It feels like that a little bit. Like, this is the culture. This is what I decided to be a part of. So acceptance of the way it is way more of where I am than how can I change it. In fact, I was at a doctor's appointment the other day and I met a guy. And this is how I actually started the video, talking about this interaction, a Dominican guy, a Dominican American. And he bought some things here and he was going through the frustration of, like, getting things registered with the DGII, with getting SEPEM, the utility to turn on Claro, all of it. Right. And he's like, how do you see it? Do you want to change it or do you just adjust to it? And it was the first time I've been asked that question directly. And my instinct right away was like, nah, I'd rather it just is, because again, I chose to go somewhere else, not to bring with it like, oh, I could do this so much better from the place I left. I'd rather it be the way it is. And then I'll deal with the frustration. And what I try to do is I look at the other side. So if 4 to 6 hours a month, I want to beat somebody to a pulp because of just how inefficient they're being, right? Like, whoever it is, customer service, whatever it might be, 2 to 3 hours a day, I'm no longer spending on laundry, on cleaning, on cooking. My wife and I go on dates once, twice a week. My kids and I get to play after school because there's no chores to do in the house. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of benefit here. Look at the weather. I mean, this sunshine, beautiful. There's no wind today. It makes me sweat a little bit, but you get my point, right? Like, I'd rather celebrate what I love than try to change what I don't, as long as there's not abuse. I don't like scams. I don't want to see like real estate scams happen. If that's being Americanized, then it is what it is. But I'd rather that, if that makes sense. Would love your thoughts on it. Drop it down in the comments below. Moan Wood Inspections. Do I offer coaching? I do some coaching. I do some coaching on brand, content creation, brand, YouTube, all of that stuff. You can go to Instagram and DM me if that's what you're looking for. But like life coaching, no, I've done it. It's not for me. I have a community. Actually, the core of my income comes from my GoBundance community in the United States. GoBundance. I'll type it down here so you guys can see. Well, I won't. GOBUNDANCE. It's like a networking group of men that want to, get accountability and drive forward. Like, I do group coaching in that environment, but I don't offer individual coaching. Let's see what else we got here. Tariffs are a gun to the head. Let's see. Correct. To the people of the country opposing the tariffs. Any tariffs the U.S. puts on another country are paid by U.S. citizen. Wendy, that's not true. Like, that's mathematically not true. Tariff percentages compared to cost percentages on goods tariffed doesn't correlate. So I get it. It does impact Americans to an extent, but the 1-for-1 correlation is just mathematically not true. So that's my take on it. Again, I'm not challenging you. I'm not telling you you're terrible or whatever. Just like, I get what you're saying, but that's not true. And again, the tariff gun to the head thing has not crashed the economy. Maybe it will, but it hasn't. And it was by June it was supposed to. Then by September it was supposed to. And it's just not. It's just not. Let's see what this person says. Yanidis, from watching your channel, you seem straightforward and honest. Only disagreement is the orange man. Again, Yanidis, people assume that I'm a Trumper. Okay? People assume I'm a Trumper. I'm not. I think Trump is an animal in many ways. I think what I see with what ICE is doing in general, I see two sides of it. The messier the mess, the harder the cleanup. I know that may diminish the human element. I'm just saying it as like a saying. But boy, I don't like seeing the way people are treated And I don't like the idea of just grab and go. I see it here. I don't like it. I see just yesterday, my sons are getting used to it. We drive by a truck with all these Haitian guys grabbed up and caged. I mean, these trucks look like old oil, like they look like oil trucks with a cage on the back. And you just see like humanity stuffed into the back of them. I don't like that either. However, DR has a right to defend its border, right? So like I sit on both sides of it, but I don't like the way. There's a better way, I believe, than what he's doing. I also believe that economically, I'm falling more in line with like, let's see what it does, as opposed to like, oh, that's a bad idea. Because so far he hasn't been wrong to the extent that many of us maybe thought he was wrong. Policy. We don't have an agreement or disagreement on Orange Man because I don't have an opinion on him. Personally, probably not a guy I'd hang out with, although he might be interesting. But I'm looking at policy, period. That's where I like to stay. I'm human, of course. I have my feelings. When people get too emotional about Trump, I'm like, this dude, he's getting too much guff. When people get too emotionally like high on Trump, it's the same thing. Like, dude, he's not God. Let's calm down, right? Like he's a human being with some policies. So that's the way it goes. Let's see what this is here. Trump tariff policy hasn't sunk the world economy. Correct. It will first sink the U.S. economy, and that's been the prediction forever, though. So I don't know. Let's see. So you're in DR and can't talk about the government there, and no longer in the U.S., so you can't talk about the government here. Bruce, a name so nice you got to say it twice. That's a really good way of putting it, right? Like if I mention the U.S. politics, I get like, stay in your lane, gringo. Like, well, I made the lane. What are you talking about? Like, it's the lane I made. You come in or don't. Like, leave the lane. But yeah, here, don't talk about it. You're going to be deported. And people, man, like I was talking to a buddy at Dominican the other day, and he's like, yeah, I see you kind of like you're not afraid to put your opinion out there. I'm like, what do you think that means? Like for me, honestly, like, am I going to get run off the road? Like, is my family going to get deported? He goes, no, they just won't make things easy. Like, you want to get inside of Cap Cana? If the guy that heads up Cap Cana doesn't like you, he'll make sure you don't get in Cap Cana. Like, you'll just lose some access, right? Like, and I got the same thing from Sergio Carlo. We did this like gold mine, Barrick Gold video together, and I put it up for a day and took it down because it's not where I want my brand to be. It was more of like an expose, and I didn't intend it to be. It was a really good video. I gave it to the inner circle to watch, my inner circle, but like I didn't want that on my platform. But I said to Sergio, I'm like, man, I got to be honest too. Like Barrick's got a lot of pull. Like, my safety. He's like, no. He's like, but yeah, you won't get any favors. That's for sure. So yeah, that's my fear with talking about DR government, I guess. But here's what I would say. I talk about what means something to me and to my kids' future in this country. That's when I get into it. People that don't like that, like, it's very easy. There's a button like on my laptop. I could show you. It's got an X. They can click that. There's an unsubscribe button. You can click that. I had a guy comment on a video yesterday, and you could see like what other comments he made. So whenever I get a douchey comment, I always look like, am I being sensitive or is this guy a douche? And you tap a button and it shows you like the last 3 comments they made on any video of yours. And this one was like, you talk too much, shut up. I'm like, I do talk too much, granted, but like, why would you comment? Just don't watch. The last comment said, I'm unsubbing from like a month ago. I'm like, this guy just wants attention. He's probably on this right now, trolling me. Who knows? We got Fit Fashions. Please, can you do a video on kids' school? I have 2 kids, 6 and 9. I've done a couple Fit Fashions. If you go to my platform, my YouTube channel, there's a few on there that I've done on school. But for sure, if there's something specific you have a question on, easiest way is to DM me on Instagram, and I'll be happy to answer you. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Method to the madness. Yes. We got Wendy is not happy with me. Wendy Future, not happy with anything I say that's not Trump bad. I was looking at you for good DR info, but if you're thinking Trump is, here we go. This is what I mean. I'm only 25 minutes in, and you're killing me. I was looking at you for good DR info, and we talked about that. But if you're thinking Trump is doing any good, I might have to nope out of your channel. Then Wendy, yeah, you're more emotional than I am on this, and I'm not for you. I'm not for you. I'm literally looking at Trump and Xi negotiating. What does it mean, and how does it filter down to the DR? And then all these other questions are popping up. So that is that. We got this. Leave it alone. Okay. Let's see. What is this? How is doing business in DR different from the USA? Is the work ethic the same? Oh, that's a good question. Zinc 00000. How is doing business in the DR? Here's what I would say. It's an in-person place. People always ask me, like, would this be a good business idea in DR? Would this be a good business idea? It's like, it doesn't work that way, right? Like where you come up with an idea and then you implement it here. You got to be here. You got to know the key stakeholders, and you have to kind of get the blessing of the community in some way. That may not be the right way of putting it, but the more you have connection in country, the easier it is to do business. Is the work ethic the same? It really depends on which kind of business you're doing. Front desk style workers who don't make a lot of money, there's not a lot of work ethic there. I mean, they'll work a lot, but I shouldn't say work ethic. They work a lot, but you're not going to get the friendliest interaction with them. That's better said. Hardworking. Like, this country is very hardworking, but service may not be like the first thing in on their mind. Like, I just got to do my job. But the work ethic here, here's what I would say. And this happened after Hurricane Fiona, which was about a month after we moved here. We were living in Cap Cana at the time, and it was rough. That was a category 1, but it stayed there on top of Cap Cana, ripped our roof off. We were getting flooded in the house we were staying in. Only a month here, which was really scary. We were still very new. Even today would be scary, but even more so then when we didn't really know a lot of people locally, just my wife's family in Higuay. Here's the difference. After that storm, I said this. The Dominican Republic in many ways lacks resources, but what they lack in resources, they make up in resourcefulness. So they may lack resources, but they're extremely resourceful. That I admire about this country. I remember the next day, a Honda Civic turning the corner out of Juanillo. If you've ever been to Cap Cana, out of there to go out toward the exit. And there were 4 guys in it with like 6 planks of plywood on top. And all it was 4 hands holding it on top. Like, try that in the United States. We got to get this plywood from there to there. We got a Honda Civic and 4 guys. Whoa. We need straps. We need a truck. We got to go rent something, right? Like, we just wouldn't know how to do that. I saw a dude, and this is funny. It was funny and sad, but I think you'll appreciate it. I saw a dude going down the highway towards Santo Domingo, and we saw him from far back. We're like, what the hell is that? It was a moto on the shoulder. And he had his arm up like this, and behind him, leaning on the back, I'll back up here, leaning on the back of his bike with his hand holding it just so it stayed there, was a washing machine. That was funny. The sad and funny part was, just as we got up next to this poor guy, it just downpoured. And this guy, you could see his face like, mother God, just 5 more minutes. You could see the poor guy. I felt so bad, but I was one of those, like, it's funny, but it's sad, right? But like, again, who thinks like, yeah, oh, I saw a guy tape. You see a lot of these. They tape the box of a TV to their back and get on a moto, right? Like, I'll just tape it around. Like, a guy's literally like wrapping tape around him, and the box is like propped up back here. Hop on a moto and go. Like, I think that is amazing. And I said last week, that entrepreneurial spirit, that whatever it takes to get done mindset in the future, where wages are less of where household incomes are made, like, meaning AI is going to carve out a lot of jobs before it creates more. In that world, people in the DR are going to have an easier transition than people in the US who are reliant upon go to school, go to college, get a job, get $60,000 a year, and I'm good with benefits. As that goes away and you've got universal basic income, or somebody's thrust into entrepreneurship, it's going to be a hard transition. Here, people hustle, man. So that's the work ethic thought. It's part of the culture I love the most. So thanks for giving me a chance to talk about it. Let's see. Here we go. Zin, Punta Cana beaches aren't the best. Before you even say about sargassum is essentially gone. It's pretty well. I haven't been to all the Punta Cana beaches, but it's on its way out. I would have agreed with you anyway. I think, and I'd be curious what you guys think. I think the best beaches, if you had to go to one place, are in Samaná. Those Bonita, and even out to Las Galeras, Playa Fronton, the 7 Beaches tour. Oh my God, that is like kissed by God. But the beach that I've been to, that's the most incredible to me that people don't go to, is I'm looking at comments, is Punta Rusia. Love Punta Rusia. But yes, Punta Cana beaches are not the best. The thing Punta Cana beaches have is that white sand, blue water contrast. That's kind of unique to Punta Cana and to some extent, and Bahia Ibe. So that's what we have. But yeah, that is that. Let's see. We got like a Trump back and forth in some of the comments here. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Jesus, the more I watch this, man, the more it changed my opinion about the DR, because since I was a kid, my parents always tell me, don't go to DR. They hate Haitians. You really changed my mind. You know what's really interesting about this affordable vehicle is, I just had this conversation with somebody today. There's the Alafoque activist side on Haitians, but I don't know him, his content. I know he's doing some big, huge things. Sony, I mean, that guy is like on a rocket. But I know that activist wing is less like, this is my take. Some of you know better than me, so I actually want your opinion because maybe I'm wrong on this. It's less we hate Haitians. It's more we want to protect our sovereignty. And I respect that big time. Some of the actions maybe are in a way like, they cleared out like a Haitian community in Friusa, just north here of where I live. They cleared it, like leveled it. And I think the government, in like an act of like, hey, let's get these people off our back, they just leveled this community, which is fine. Again, the government needs to protect its sovereignty 100%. However, the Haitian hate that you're referring to, I feel and get that it exists more with American Dominicans than it does on the ground. And the reason for that, I believe, and doesn't mean that there's not people that are hateful of Haitians here. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is here you have to see them. You know what I mean? Like from afar, like if you live in Ohio and you're looking at border issues, it's like, keep them out. But if you're sitting on the border in Texas and you're seeing the human toll that it takes, some of what happens through immigration, you can't help but see it and be empathetic to it. We just, in my inner circle group, which by the way, guys, the one ask I have of you is to seriously consider joining the inner circle, unless you don't like me because of, 25 minutes in or whatever that comment was. But it's just jamiegruber.com. It's $9 a month. And we've got a ton of benefits. I just had Jellyfish reach out. It sounds like I'm going to have them offering 10% discounts for any inner circle member. I've got Castaways. I've got a few other restaurants locally, and I'm going to expand that. Just that alone. My insurance broker is giving 10% off on insurance products to inner circle members. Legal counsel that I refer gives a 5% discount on legal services to inner circle. That's just the discount for $9 a month that you get. But the community is incredible. Here's one story on that. A young man, Angel Castillo. I just did a video on this. If you saw it, I'll fast forward through as quickly as possible on this. But he's a Dominican American, moved here, 26 years old. He lives locally here in Punta Cana. And he ran across a young Haitian boy, 12 years old, orphan, lives on the streets by himself. And of course, you have to verify that. However, he fed this kid who was trying to sell lollipops just to make a little bit of money. He fed this kid, got to know him, and then he dropped it in the inner circle group. And within 30 minutes, we had housing. We had him lined up for school, 30 minutes. Today, he and a friend that we found that Angel found at the same time when he went back to find this kid in the area where he was, because I said, hey man, if you can find him, we can get him in school. I know a guy. And we did a whole thing. Angel went back and found him, and he was with his friend, his ride or die, his buddy, both Haitian kids, both orphaned. We brought him in. It was crazy to watch the social workers and the types of questions and like trying to trip them up to understand, like, are their parents sending them out to beg and they're trying to take advantage of like a system like what we put them in? Or is it really true that they're just true orphans? And by every indication, there's nothing we could find other than they live on the streets. Biggest validation point was the restaurant owner. I know. And so does Angel. He's like, oh, those boys have lived on the streets here for years. I know them. I give them food from time to time, when at the end of the night. So my point is here, when we put that in the group, which the inner circle is mostly Dominicans living here, living in the US, just aligned around love of country, love of what they do here, and then learning about investing and living and everything. We've already raised over, I think it's almost $2,000 to help these kids, like in a day. I just put the link up yesterday. These people have come, they're like, how can I help? I've got stuff I could donate. How can I get involved? Like, these are kids, right? If it's a 46-year-old Haitian man, like, man, you gotta do your thing. But for kids, I love what we did within that inner circle, and I'll continue to put that out there. But my point is on this about old world Dominican folks who moved away a long time ago because they had to find opportunity. This government and this country didn't offer it to them. And they found in what is still the greatest country in the world, the United States, that offers the most opportunity. Absolutely. I'm a proud American. Today at Culture Day, I represented America. My family represented the United States, not the Dominican Republic, right? Like, we were part of the U.S. crew. Still a proud American. Don't want to Americanize the place, but a proud American down here. But for what was my point? For us, for this group, like, to see them rally around the human element of these kids, like, let's just take care of these kids, was so damn inspiring. So damn inspiring. So, the Dominicans that left years ago, and I get some of these people messaging me like, you don't know what you're talking about. It's dangerous. And I've had people say to me, I haven't been there since 1976 and won't go back. Like, and you're telling me about the reality on the ground today. Interesting. So that is that. So here's something else I want to shout out. So Dan here, this guy right here, this is my editor. He's an amazing human being. I send him videos to edit, right? And we've got a process. We do it in Slack. It's like a communication thing. So I had sent him a few videos, and then the other day I sent him the video about these two young boys, which is on my channel right now. And he messaged back. He said, hey, I stopped editing these other ones. I'm editing this one. He did it in like a day. He's like, the story's too heartbreaking. Sorry if you wanted those other videos first. And I was like, dude, that's why I love working with you. That's why I love this guy, Dan. That's why I love supporting him in any way I can. Because he is just that he's got a heart. That's all I want. Like, he felt like, no, this story needs to be told. I'm like, great, man. I'll take that video and do it now. We'll do the Miches video later. We'll do the me buying a business video later. Absolutely. Those will come out when they come out, but let's get this one out into the world. It means a lot to you. Then it means a lot to me. So Dan, I love you, man. I wanted to let you know that. Let's see what else we got. Hurt pooped his pants. Hurts pooped his pants. That's the best handle of the day. I only say that because YouTube is starting to suppress cursing. Yes, you can be a proud American and still realize the divisiveness that American politics is causing. 100%, man. I think there are more Americans turned off by all the infighting. You know, it's true. I think generally speaking, Americans are like turned off by it, but everyone is cautious to want to say anything. Kind of what the person was going after me about. All I said was tariff policy didn't tank the country. And, you know, hey, Trump has been right on that so far. It hasn't. Maybe he'll be wrong eventually. And it's like, I can't watch you anymore because you didn't say what I want you to say. U.S. politics are aligned left to right, and there's a chasm between the people. And at the tippy top, the top of my middle fingers on each of these sides sits, you know, Trump over here. That's my God. Vance, Marco Rubio, whomever, and like Kamala or Gavin Newsom or whomever over here. And if you don't align with this or that, you're dead to me. And what I love about the Dominican Republic, as many warts as it has, is people are connected. And even politicians are connected on certain things, Christian values, border protection. Everyone's aligned. The chasm, the gap lies between the human beings that make up the populace and the government. There's distrust here, and there should be. That's where I love how Dominican politics align. They don't align this way. They align this way, if that makes sense. So I'm a big fan. This is my buddy, Eddie Berto. Good to see you, buddy. Much love, OG Gringo King. Sorry, here's Eddie Berto. I remember I could feature this now. This guy, man, I met him in the village. He said last year, but man, was that last year? I feel like that was like 3 months ago. Maybe it was last year. But that's my favorite uncle's name, mi tío, Eddie Berto. My wife's uncle, so my uncle. But he is my wife's uncle. He's 10 years older than me to the day. October 1, 68, he was born. I was born in 78. And he and I, man, like barely speak each other's language. Like the amount of Spanish I speak is the amount of English he speaks. I could hang with that dude all day. We're just like Libras, kindred spirits. We think the same. We act the same. We laugh at the same stuff. He's just one of my favorite human beings in the world. And when we moved here, he and his family have been nothing but supportive. So much love to Eddie Berto, and love to you, my friend. Good to see you on here today. Yo, Jamie, just forget about it. Let's do some fresh steaks at El Nacional supermarket and have a barbecue later today. I love it. I love it, man. Later today, I'm going to be trick-or-treating. Some people don't like that, but in certain areas that are international, and again, my neighborhood where I live is mostly Dominican, but they've lived in the U.S., they've lived in Canada, and they're like, hey, an excuse for a party? Hell yeah, let's go. I know there's a religious angle to that people don't like, but I don't know. You know, it is what it is. So what else did I miss? What other questions do we have here? Oh, I'm going to do this real quick, guys. I have all these cool things at my disposal. Wait, media assets. And I click here. Do this. Oh, wait. I got to get rid of the other thing first. Oh, crap. I'm doing this wrong. Hold on. Let me get rid of this and then go back here. There it is. Like and subscribe. Hit that like button, subscribe. And I appreciate that. Let's see. I'll be in Puerto Plata in November. 2 Bruces in one place. 2 Bruces, 1 Puerto Plata. I hope you enjoy it there, my friend. I don't know if you're from there or just visiting for the sake of it, but we shall see. Here we go. I'm going to get a shameless plug-in. I don't know who that is. I can't see by the image, but the Inner Circle is provided more than just a chat group. It's being in DR without being there and understanding what expats are gathering ideas in group meetups. Man, it's more than I thought it could be, and I love that it's cheap. I love that it's $9 a month. I'm going to drop it here, jamiegruber.com. If you go to that link, if it lets you, if you can highlight it, paste it, whatever, just remember it. Try it, guys. I met a guy today. He's like, oh, I was in it for a month. And then, you know, I've been in DR for a long time. So I jumped out because it looked like there was more people learning about it. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. But like, there's discounts to restaurants and stuff that you could use. Just pay the $9 and do that. Or you could pay for a year. It's $90. And what do I do with that money? So here's what I do, just so you're clear. How is New York? I'm going to get to this question here in a second. Here's what I do. I'm going to drop it up here. There we go. A portion of that goes, so I have Raina, that's my assistant. So she gets paid. So anybody that works with me, I want to know their goals. Raina has a goal to buy a house for their husband. And so I give her a certain amount of every membership as long as she manages the community well. And that goes to her. So if I get it to 5,000 members, she's gonna make a lot of money, right? She's gonna make a good living. She's in the Philippines. I've had her for a long time. So I'm always trying to pay her more and more and more. She's been like an hour a week with me, and now she's up to 20 hours a week with me. And now she's getting paid that way. So I give some to that. A portion goes to Second Mile Mission, along with every subscribe, every like, every every subscribe and every follow that I get across platforms. On those, I donate 2 cents for every one of them to Second Mile Missions, and I donate a portion of the proceeds from the Inner Circle to Second Mile Missions. The rest goes toward, I have a Kajabi membership so that all of the videos that we do on a weekly basis get housed in your portal. I use it for other platforms like ManyChat and other subscription services I need to run the community well, and then whatever's left, I take. That's it. That's what I do with it. My main income is from the US. And I'll be honest with you, I love creating content about life here. And the reason why is I met 2 people today. One said, they're Dominican. They're like, we're from Pennsylvania. We moved here 3 months ago. She's like, I could have moved here and I'm watching a white American dude tell me about my country. Hell no, I got to move there. She said it was the nicest way. She's like, I couldn't believe I was learning from a white American dude. And I'm like, if he's there doing this, I got to go. I get that so often. So if I am helping people in any way, just get a look, a glimpse. I met another dude who's in the Inner Circle recently. He was here for the meetup that we do once a month. And he was like, dude, I got to feel like I was there without being there thanks to you. He's like, it's making this way easier for me. I've got an attorney thanks to you, and he's been awesome. I've got a realtor thanks to you. Like, I am blown away by the impact of this social media, YouTube stuff. So I want to keep doing it. And if that means I need to earn more from the content that I'm making, sponsorships, but of value to you, Inner Circle, that sort of thing, and move away from some of the US income to be able to shift my efforts. Because again, I look at it like time, family, I got my work, I got me. I want to enjoy myself and my life. I want to enjoy my family, and I want to enjoy my work. I have to choose, right? Like I can't just make a bunch of content on top of earning an income with other time. That doesn't leave me time for family. So if anything else, people look at it as supporting me, you can do that as well. It's $9 a month or $90 for the year for one person. Would love to have you in there. So jamiegruber.com if you want to check that out. Let's see. It's Henry. As of today, we're officially owners in the bill. Guys, give big ups to this guy. Larrick BX at Larrick BX. Henry. It's Henry. Give Henry a lot of love in the chat, please. Like, spam the chat. Congrats to Henry. He's officially an owner today, guys. And we're hearing about it. I'm getting sweaty. I'm getting emotional about it. That's amazing. Let him know, guys. Drop it down in the chat. Congrats to Henry. Like, blow it up. I would love to see people congratulating him right now. Congrats to you, bro. That's incredible. I'll probably see you around today. We're going to be around shopping, or not shopping, trick-or-treating. Although I have a doctor's appointment at 3:30 I got to go to. Let's see what else we have. C-Jack, my guy C-Jack. You have a great information and a big heart. Thanks for all you do. C-Jack, I appreciate that. One of the proudest things that I've seen or heard is people meet me and they're like, dude, you just like your videos. Like, this, like, I couldn't tell. Like, you come across so authentic, but it's like, is he really that way? And then you meet me, and I can tell you, I've even been in rooms where like I'm like arguing with my wife, and somebody recognizes me. I'm like, I'm sorry, she's really annoying right now. He's like, oh my God, it's your Dominican wife. You're the same guy. My wife is amazing. She's beautiful. I look at her every day, no kidding, with hearts in my eyes. And then some days I want to throw her off the balcony. There's many days, actually, probably a few times a day that I like to throw her off the balcony. But I'm in her country. She has a lot of uncles and tias, primos. Like, she could disappear me very quickly. So I got to watch what I say, just in case she's over there. Right, babe? Okay, she's not there, or she's not responding. This question I love. I'm going to bring this question up, and we're going to go on this because I love this question. From Zinc, do you regret quitting your job in the USA and moving to the Dominican Republic? It's okay. Here's the cliched answer. Then I'm going to give you the deeper answer. The cliched answer is the only regret I have is that I didn't do it sooner. There we go. Ms. Barb, excuse me. Congrats. Give Henry love, man. Give Henry some love for buying his first property. Not first property, but getting a property today in Punta Cana. Congrats to you, man. I love seeing it. Love that you're part of the inner circle. There we go. We got him coming in. It must be a delay on my side. I don't know. But do you regret quitting your job in the USA to move to DR? The answer is no, not even a little bit. And whether I had this platform or not, like not even a little bit. I love the safety we feel here because of where we chose to live, the bubble that we're in for sure. I love the community that we have. I love what our kids have done. I don't know if you guys saw on Instagram, I did a video because people were asking about moving kids, where I shared that my 10-year-old, who was 7 when we moved the other day, said, Dad, it feels like kids are more mature here than US kids and Canadian kids. I'm like, why do you think that? He goes, I don't know. Like all the US and Canadian kids feel like that he's meeting that have moved here. They feel like children. He's like, and he's 10. He's like, whereas the Dominican kids, like, I feel like I think he said we or they or we or whatever, like we and them, like, you know, we were more responsible, we're more mature. And I'm like, man, he goes, that's probably a reason you kept us here, huh? Like you felt like we should stay here. I said, it is a reason. It wasn't specifically like the maturity, but just like they got to go out and knock on doors to get people to come out and play with. They have to, you know, navigate their way around. They take, you know, the other day, he's like, he earned 1,000 pesos. He took his bike and disappeared, went to an ice cream shop with his little brother, watching his little brother. They went together. I went later because I wanted ice cream. And they were there just enjoying ice cream. It was, it was amazing. Where I lived in the US, a very safe community, but like, no, I wouldn't. We wouldn't. We would have, honestly, maybe it's judgment. We would have been looked at as like non-involved parents. The way we parent our kids here in the US is just looked at as irresponsible. So I don't regret quitting my job. I don't regret moving to DR. Quite the opposite. There's a mosquito, right? I don't know if I got him or not. These mosquitoes, merengue, they bachata, man. They're quick. You got them and they just like zig out. It's crazy. What I would say is this. Here's my relationship with regret. I am way more afraid of whatever my last day is, and I hope it's a long time from now. I really am. This is so honest, guys. I'm way more afraid of being, 89 years old or 96 years old or whatever it is, and sitting there in my last days or my last day and wondering what could have been. That scares the hell out of me. And the experience I had on this was 2021, kind of the beginnings of even making the move to the Dominican Republic. 2021 is when I quit. I started doing things to quit in 2017. I started buying real estate. I created a community called Multifamily and More. That kind of blew up. I got on Bigger Pockets podcast because my friend is Brandon Turner. And he's like, dude, your networking story, we got to put that on there. And that's just boom, 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 boom. I started GoBundance, my community. And that was, it's like $5,000 a year. People joined because they wanted group coaching and connection and accountability. And they still do that to this day. You said 3 people joined today, as a matter of fact, which is great. So like all of that is what started to percolate from 2017. And then by 2021, it's like, all right, I'm making $400,000 and I'll break that down. Some people are like, you never made $400,000. Okay, go screw yourself. But here's how I made it. $200K base salary. Bonus was 100. Didn't always have to be 100, but the company performance allowed it to be 100. That was the most it could be. We got a top line bonus for like 4 years in a row, $100,000. So that's 300. And then I would get a stock award of about 50 or 60,000. So that's like 350. And then prior stock awards would vest. They were on a 5-year vesting schedule. So I'd get it in like 2017 and then 2020, 21, and 22, a third, and a third would vest. And every year I would vest, especially if the stock price went up from when it was granted to me, 80, 100, 200,000. So it was like 400 plus. I was making a good living. Okay. So I'm driving to Florida. It was me and my 2 dogs in a minivan, a Dodge Grand Caravan. 3-day drive down because I was stopping and seeing people on the way. And my wife and kids flew down there in COVID, early 2021. We did that to get away in Hollywood, Florida. We rented a penthouse condo on the beach in Hollywood, Florida for $15,000 for 1 month. $15,000 for 1 month. And we're talking about $12,000 a night at some places here. So we did that. I drove down 3 days of thinking, 3 days of clarity. And I was like, man, I think I might want to quit my job. And to be clear, the GoBundance thing that I wasn't making any money yet. I had my real estate portfolio that I could take about $4,000 a month out of, and I had 120 saved. People were like, you made $400,000, you only had 120. Yeah, everything was invested. Everything was in my real estate. So I had 120. To me, that was like, I was guessing I spent $10,000 a month. Maybe I spent more. That's a year. And I could take $4,000 out a month of my real estate, and that makes my year longer. So I have time. But am I going to quit? And I had to give back It was damn near $1 million in unvested equity that was sitting in my account that one day would be mine, wasn't now. Had to give that back. All of this is going through my mind on the drive down to Florida. When I got to not Port St. Lucie. What's the old town in Florida? Like a really old town, the oldest town, St. Augustine. I got to St. Augustine. My mind was like, holy crap, I think I might have to quit. I was getting myself convinced. And I stopped at a buddy of mine, his house, Gino Barbaro. He's a big multifamily guy. And Gino was like, dude, quit. What are you doing? You need to quit. You'll be fine. Like, hey, Gino, it's easy for you to say. But I leave and I'm driving from St. Augustine to Hollywood. Some of you know it's probably like a 3 or 4 hour drive. And on the way, I get a call from my friend, old friend, Bob, up in New England, where I worked in Boston. And I say old friend, he's an old coworker. I never talked to this guy. He's a great guy, but like we were just coworkers. So why is he calling me? I think it was a call. It might've been a text, but in my mind, it was a call. So I get a call and he says, hey, I wanted to give you a heads up. Paul Allaire was his name. He's a friend of mine, a mentor of mine. He was the executive I wanted to be like. And then one day I became like, and then once I got the job and I really struggled in the role with my boss, he had a similar situation. He was my mentor. Paul was 49. He was healthy. He was an active guy. He had some chest pain, went to the hospital, never left. In that moment, on this question of regret, in that moment, there was this like flash. I'll never forget this, like a God moment for me. I got away from, if I quit this job, I'm like, God, what did I get myself into? How complicated my life is. If only I could tell my 22-year-old self what I know now. And like, now I got a mortgage and I got kids and All of that was what was keeping me at the job, even though my mind was saying, leave the job. Then I hear Paul died. And it was like a flash forward. All of a sudden, I didn't care about 22-year-old me anymore. I saw 90-year-old me. Like, no kidding. Like I had this like, what would 90-year-old me say if he walked in the room right now? And like he did in that moment in my mind as I'm driving. 90-year-old me walks in the room and he goes, hey, man, you're in your 40s. You're young. You got young kids. You're vibrant. You're in your prime earning years. Statistically, that's very true. Like I'm about to die. It's at the end. There's nothing left for me. Like you think your life is complex with a mortgage and a family when you're young and vibrant. It's complex at the end when you look back and say, man, I wish I would have quit the job. You'll be all right. Like the wisdom of 90-year-old me came to me in that moment, guys, that reshaped my relationship with regret. No longer do I look at regret as something that's real. Looking back, like I don't regret anything. I don't regret 21 years. I don't regret moving to DR now versus sooner. I don't regret any of that because I don't believe in the word. I think we are who we are up to the point that we are making decisions. But I fear getting to the end of life and not doing the things and wondering what could have been. I did stand-up comedy in Boston for a few months because I always wondered, could I be the next Bill Burr? I don't know. I won't know unless I go on stand-up comedy. I did it. Not for me. That was pretty funny. Made fun of my Dominican wife a lot. That was like 15 years ago. I made fun of her a lot. Not in a bad way. Well, in a bad way, in a funny way. But it was definitely for me, the reshaping of what regret means. So my answer for some of you, that if that hits one of you today, that's like, I've got some savings. I make a little money on the side. Maybe my wife or my husband works and, we got some runway and I hate what I do and I have a dream and I'm 38 or 44. You know what? I got to go. If that did that just now for one of the 130 people watching, amazing. Amazing. I'll go another hour on this if need be in that regard. So that is my answer to this question. I know it's a long one, but I hope it helps. Here it is. No regret. You keep moving. Richard Laurent, man, wise words. You could have just said that. I spoke for 40 minutes and you could have just said that. Ay, ay, ay. All right, let's see what this is here. Can you please suggest any link on how long homes in DR or Caribbean last in general? If I buy and hold for 25 years, will it still resale if the house doesn't last as long? Do condos have better shot? If you mean like physically last, I mean, there's some houses here that are old. Houses in Casa de Campo are a long time. The house I'm buying was built in 2013. And the appraiser who works for the bank, mind you. So like, yeah, we had to pay her, but she's doing it for the bank. She gave it like a lifestyle. What did she say? Like a life age of 5 years because of the condition. So it's like anything, there's more maintenance than maybe some people realize. Like concrete can deteriorate if you allow water to get in it, right? Like it turns into mush, and then that could become dangerous. So you got to maintain your house. But concrete rebar, if it's done right, like it can last a long, long, long time. Somebody tell me different, by the way. This is my take. Like, I'm not gospel here. So somebody tell me if like, no, man, I haven't seen a house last past 30 years. I mean, I have. So maybe I'm wrong on that, but help out. Is it Sadulankur? Sadulankur. Help him out or her out, whoever that is, if you don't mind. Let's see. Well said. I love what I do, but hate the company. In general, I just want to be free of the 9 to 5 and take the risk. Here's my advice on that. It's Gabed. So these handles are funny. It's Gobed. It's Gobed. It's Gabed. It's Gabed. It's Gabed. Whatever. Here's my advice on that. Find something to run toward versus running away. And what I mean is, if you're going to run away, I say this, like if I quit in 2019 when I really wanted to, when it was right where you may be, like I was done. I would have busted through the doors. It would have felt amazing, but I would have been running away. And like, maybe I would have figured it out. Maybe I wouldn't, but the chances of me needing to go back and get a job would have been very high. When I built something to run toward by 2021, I was able to like leave with gratitude. Like, thank you for being such a terrible place to work for those last few years, because without that, I wouldn't have been motivated to go create something. And I was truly grateful. I should find the resignation letter. Like, it was with true gratitude in my heart that I left that company of 21 years. I grew up there. I met my wife there. I have a lot of gratitude for what happened in that company at Progressive. But yeah, I would caution you against running in hate and run toward love. That's what I would say. Find the thing that you love. Let's see what else we got here. Whoa. Here we go. Bruce. I love that handle. I'll never forget that handle. About to be 50, retired Army. I'll be at least 6 months a year in DR at about 55. Can't wait. Amazing, man. Congrats to you. That's incredible. 2 Bruces for the price of 1. Elvin, good to see you, buddy. The house where my father was born in 1938, still standing and occupied. There you go. Monthly expenses in DR, no rent. Oh, well, I can riff on this, guys. I'll riff on this because a lot of people don't like what I say about this. And DR is a big place, so the range is huge. But I'll give you perspective. All I can do is share my story, guys, right? I can't tell you what everybody's life is. I can only share mine. So Morena Bella, let's dive into this a little bit. Let me see if anything else pops up here. And then we'll come back to it maybe. Yeah, let's go with that. What's up, Crypto Surge? I see you just popped in. All right, expenses in DR. So it really depends on where you want to go. It really depends on your family situation. If you are a single retired person moving to a sleepy beach town, you could rent a place for $200-300 a month. You can have a $50 electric bill. You can have a phone and Wi-Fi for $50 a month. Food will cost you a couple hundred. You can live $1,000 to $1,500. Absolutely, you can. Absolutely. You can live for more, and you can live well. You can live great. The live like a king thing is always out there. You can also live for $10,000 to $15,000 a month and live like a middle class style of life. And let me explain that real quick. A guy yesterday had said, I don't know if it was on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. I kind of roll between the platforms, but he had said, it was Instagram. I have a $10K budget. Is that enough to live comfortably in DR with a family? I think he said family of 4. I could be wrong, but he has kids. So I replied in a story, and I'll give you guys perspective on this. I'm like, all right, look, man, and he also said, I can run my business remotely, but I have to go back to New Jersey once every 4 to 5 weeks. So he's going to be flying back and forth with some frequency, which a lot of people do because they value their kids growing up here. I know a couple, amazing couple, where they almost alternate travel back to the US. Like they barely see each other, but they're like, it's worth it for our kids to grow up here versus up there. So they do it however they want to. So $6K a month. So let me just roll this out, and then you guys fit your lives and budgets into it. For this guy, the New Jersey guy that's going to travel back and forth, got to be Punta Cana, because that airport-wise, you're just not going to have the flight options anywhere else right now. Santo Domingo maybe, but Punta Cana is the spot. It's 170 flights a day there versus 100 in Santo Domingo, down to 16 a day in Puerto Plata, right? So Punta Cana has biggest airport in the Caribbean. So if it's going to be here, let's just say you want your kids to live in a nice neighborhood. You want to have a stable, nice gated community. So I said, let's just add this up. If you're going to get a house with kids, $2,000 to $3,000 a month to rent it. And honestly, that's maybe more of a condo in certain areas. It could be a house in others, but you could go $4,000 to $5,000 a month very easily on a house, a 4-bedroom house in Punta Cana Village Maybe in Cocotal, you're going to spend $3,000 to $5,000 a month, maybe more like $4,000 to $5,000 a month. But you go to La Palma, maybe you can get a 3-bedroom house for $1,500 to $2,000 a month. So let's just say 2 for a house. Depends on your situation, Miranda. So give me some context on your situation. For this family, right? 2. Now, he's going to put his kids in school. School will be about $9,000 a kid for the year. So that's $18,000. It's about $1,500 a month. So housing and kid is $3,500. In Punta Cana, electricity for a house, you should budget $500 a month. So there's another $500 a month. So now we're up to, what did I say, $2,35, $4,000. School, house, electric. That's it. You have health insurance. You have cars. You have car insurance. You have food. You have entertainment. You've got subscriptions. You've got all of that. So very easily you can get to $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 a month, depending on what your lifestyle needs are. $6,000 a month in the Dominican Republic in general, you can live in most places. You really can. You can have a life in most places, even with kids. Maybe you homeschool. Maybe you go to a place that's Spanish speaking, not bilingual. So it's, $1,000 a year versus $9,000 for a kid. Maybe it's only 1 kid. Maybe you have 1 car versus 2. Maybe you own a place without any mortgage or rent and no taxes. Who knows? $6,000 is absolutely enough to live well in the Dominican Republic. All I say when I say 10, 12,000 is if that's you, it's okay. I hear so many people that are Dominican moving from the States and they're like, I can't seem to do the math on what we want to do for under 10K. And my family's telling me that I'm being gringo priced or I'm wasteful or whatever. I'm like, no, you can. In my community, by the thousands, there are people that live at 10K or more a month. By the thousands. It's not some like exclusive, only a few people like Piantini. Good luck at a condo apartment there. You're going to spend $2,000 to $4,000 a month. Santiago, man, I see some of the pricing in Santiago now. It's big boy stuff, like you can also find Cabarete, Puerto Plata, way less expensive. In Punta Cana, in Residencial Bávaro or Villas Bávaro, you can get a nice house in there for way less. You could buy a 4-bedroom home for $200,000. It's going to be maybe will be way less than if you live in a village, a Las Canas, a La Palma, a Cocotal. Depends on what you want. My point is simply, you can live a nice life, for $2,000 to $15,000 a month. It's a very similar life. It really is. At $15,000, maybe you're eating out more. Maybe you're not worrying so much about where you go get your groceries. You're not shopping for the bargain, granted, but the day-to-day is very similar. It's that kind of range. Yes, Morena, you can live on 6K. 100% you can. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if that, I try to strike the chord on this, not to say like you have to. Some people are like, oh, you got to spend $10,000. Like, no, there's people here I know that spend $2,000 a month. Absolutely. They live a great life. It depends on you and your lifestyle choices. My family, we like to go to a school that we want. I remember growing up and having to turn the lights off. McDonald's was a treat. We had a nice middle-class upbringing, but like to go to McDonald's was like, if you guys ever saw the Eddie Murphy thing where like McDonald's, I can make a McDonald's and make a burger with like 2 Wonder Bread pieces and like the ketchup makes a pink, like mush at the top of the thing. And you're standing there crying. Like that was my mom. That was my parents. We couldn't go to McDonald's, right? Like it was like, no, we'll do it this way. I just have this thing. Like I never want to look at the right side of the menu. I just don't. I would rather earn as much damn money as I can to not have to worry for me or for my kids or my wife about the right side of the menu, about, hey, we want that house. Let's go get it within reason. The house we just bought is the most expensive house I've ever bought. And when my wife first brought it to me, I was like, babe, how do we afford that? And what I love is my wife and I have an agreement, if you will, or a way of managing our household that it's understood. It's like they say in Big Greek Fat Wedding. I'm the head of the household, but my wife is the neck, meaning this head doesn't do anything without the neck. She's the most powerful thing in our household, but she also understands that I'm a guy that can go get it. And so she holds me up. She gives me the space. She gives me the ability, the confidence, the love, whatever, to be the head of the household. So when she says, I want that house, she's not saying go get it no matter what. She's like, I would love that house. All I want in every fiber of my bones is to get her that house. So you can live $2,000 to $15,000 and it'll look very similar. Car might be a little nicer, maybe. House might be a little bigger, nicer neighborhood, but other than that, that's about it. Morena, I hope that helps. I see you said thanks here. I like to rip on this stuff. Let's see. Anything about the land to buy in Meaches? Jesse. Yeah. It's Meaches. I want to be very clear because some people get like, it's actually the town of Magua, which is like next to Meaches. So, but it's like Punta Cana Bávaro, if that makes sense. Like that's the way I would look at it. But that land, there were 350. It's Legacy Meaches is the project. Google it. I don't know, whatever. Or go into the description of my video and there's a link for you to get on the list for them to reach out to you. Because I bought there. I bought a large lot, which is 1,250 square meters. I think those might be gone, or like 95% of them are gone. I'll see if I can look it up here. But the large lots were, I paid 70. I think they're up to 90. The medium-sized lot, 1,000. The medium-sized lots are 500 square meters. I don't know how much. Those are probably in the mid-30s now. And then the small lots are 350 square meters. And I think those are in the mid to high 20s to buy, 20-something $1,000. Still available. More of the small lots because there's more of them. I think there were like 400 small lots, like 100 medium and maybe less than 100 of the big. So the big ones I think are gone or close to gone. On their website, on the Boardwalk Development's website or Legacy Meaches website, they actually show you, there's like a tracker. The medium lots were like 60, 70%, maybe 50%. The small lots were only like 20% gone. So the small lots are available. It's funny, Inner Circle, for those of you that are still watching about the Inner Circle, next Tuesday, we do a call every Tuesday on Zoom and it gets put in a portal. So if you vault. So if you can't make it live, you can watch it later. But Cheryl Henderson comes in every 4 to 6 weeks. She's the founder of Boardwalk and she's the one doing the Legacy Meaches development. She brought the deals to them first. So they got the cheapest price, the Inner Circle, my Inner Circle. She's actually just made a couple of other offers to the Inner Circle of like, before I go to market, here's the offer for the Inner Circle on one of her apartment projects. But she comes on every 4 to 6 weeks just to like answer questions. So people are like, hey, I saw this. I'm nervous. Like, don't be nervous. This is what we're doing. Hey, why did I get this fee? Well, this is why that fee exists. Well, I didn't see that initially. Sorry for the frustration, but this is why. So she comes on and adds value to the community every 4 to 6 weeks. And then we have other people come in and speak. But she'll be on this Tuesday. So JamieGruber.com if you want to check out the Inner Circle. Guys, $9 a month. I'm if I sound like I'm begging for it, I'm not, but give it a shot. A lot of great value in there. Give it a shot. But yeah, there's still time to buy. Jess, if that's what you were asking, as you were right here. Go to the description in my video, like click the little more button and down at the bottom, you'll see one of the links says Legacy Meaches. Click it, get on the list and you'll get everything you need there. What is this? How do I find a female partner to invest or make a family from Canada to DR? Christian, that's a good question. I've met some people here who are meeting people. It's funny. One of them might be through the Inner Circle. I'm really plugging it today. Join the Inner Circle, man. Maybe you'll find a wife. But Punta Cana in particular, it seems like there's like a growing sort of like single of expats or like repatriating Dominicans that are meeting each other. I don't know exactly, like go to bars, go to restaurants, but that's my thought on it. So until I'm 88 years old, you have 20 years to go. Enjoy edit day. 88? Come on, man. I'm not 68 years old. 47. I got 40 years. Let's see what else we got here. Already have 14 apartments in DR, but I don't want a woman. I don't know what that was. Santiago also provides numerous flights to the New York tri-state area. Yeah, it's funny. A friend of mine up there, he owns Camp David, the restaurant. He's like, man, I can go to a Miami game, Heat game. I could fly up, go to the game, be back in the office like by lunchtime the next day from Santiago. He's like, it's awesome. So you're absolutely right. Santiago offers you New York, Miami flights, no doubt about it. And this is true from Elvin. Yeah, the pants, she's everything, man. Like there's nothing without her. I mean, really, I'm not here without her. She is literally everything. I mean, I tell my kids, they're boys, I'm like, guys, like our job is to make sure that you become great men. But mom's the first priority for me. And my older one's like, what do you mean you don't like us? I'm like, no. I love you. You're everything. Like I said, buddy, look, if I'm holding you and mom off a cliff, like if I'm trying to drag you both up off the edge of a cliff, one of you is going to fall. Like I'm letting go of mom so I can pull you up, and mom would expect that. So you guys are the, like, he's like, oh, okay. I said, but you guys, you're going to move on. And me and mom are going to be together. That's why we date every week. That's why we travel together. We do things together. Like she's everything. So where's the pants? Is the neck? Whatever. I mean, I want to kill her sometimes. Don't get me wrong. She never wants to kill me because I'm perfect. But beyond that, I think she would say the same thing. Maybe not. She won't watch this deep into the video, so I'm safe. Zinc, what a beautiful background. Yeah, this is nice. We've been renting this place. It's a smaller house, 2 bedrooms. We downsized so we could buy. That was part of my plan. Like, let's get a smaller place, pay less rent, and then we'll buy something. So we've got this for, I think, another month before we move into the house, and then we go from there. Meaning, like, I think we get the keys. I get the keys today to the house, which I'm excited about. We already closed. We're just waiting for the DGII processing. Then we get the keys. And then we're going to paint and do things in the house like you do before you move in, clean, fumigate, all that stuff, and then move in. But we kept this place for an extra month just to be safe. And the landlord here has been great. She's like, yeah, as long as you need, no problem. All right, here we go. Question from Zinc. Also, what do you think about Cabo Rojo? They are building 30 resorts or more. It's Punta Cana 2. There's a lot of Punta Cana 2s. Cabo Rojo, I'm a big believer in. I think it's secondary, maybe tertiary to Miches first. And then some of the North Shore stuff like Punta Bergantin, I think is second. As far as like, if I'm looking at where the explosion starts, Miches and Punta Bergantin are there, and then Cabo Rojo. But the commonality between all of them is they have investment from Grupo Punta Cana. Follow the money. People are like, oh, you predict things. Like, follow the money. Cabo Rojo is a Grupo Punta Cana project. Punta Bergantin is a Grupo Punta Cana project. Zemi Miches just opened, Grupo Punta Cana. If they're there, you want to be there. That's my take on it. Cabo Rojo's got a big future. Go for it if you love it there. If that's your spot, I say go for it. I'm not a financial, I have to do these disclaimers. Not a financial advisor, but that's my take on it. Let's see here. Oh, you know the Camp David owner. That's awesome. Yeah, he reached out. Look, the value of brand is I get seen by a lot of really interesting people. Like Adrian Beltre and I interact on Instagram. Charlie Villanueva just agreed to come on my Grub with Gruber platform. Manny Cruz and I have become friendly. You know, he's getting bigger and bigger. He's harder and harder to get a hold of. Not that I'm trying, but like, you know, before he would like message right back. And now like he just messaged me back. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's been like a month, but I love that. If I want him to get to the point where he doesn't have time to respond to me. I said that to him, like, you're too accessible, man. Like, you shouldn't be replying to me. Like, go on your trajectory. But David was David Bermudez. He was one that said, hey man, I love your stuff. I'd love to invite you to Camp David. I'm like, oh, I get invited by so many people. I say to no to 99%, but Camp David, come on. I want to go check that out. But he's like, I'm going to give you a full behind the scenes tour of Santiago. We're talking monorail. We're talking the construction on the airport. We'll see what he delivers, but we're apparently going to go see stuff that nobody can see except for like the elites of Santiago. I'm excited about it. It's fun, man. Like, it's a blessing to have this content out there and people reaching out like him. So I'm humbled truly by it. Let's see. Do you prioritize your wife or your kids? I believe making, oh, look at that, Zink. Yeah. I think I covered that. Definitely the wife is the priority. I believe in that. The kids are the responsibility, but the wife is the priority. Puerto Plata is a wonderful city to live. Beautiful beaches, rivers, restaurants, very peaceful and safe. Yeah, it's gorgeous up there. I got to get back. I've been to Cabarete a bunch in Sosua, but I haven't been into Puerto Plata in over a year now, I think. So I got to go check it out. And I agree with this as well. Richard, Punta Bergantin is going to be crazy. Do I see Bahia eBay Dominicus growing? I do. I think there's limited space there, to be honest with you. And I was very like, it's not my spot. It's not my spot. It's not my spot. When people were asking, why do you ever mention it? Like, because there's no public investment. It's all private. Everything else is public-private. But now there's talk of public. So my eye on Bahia eBay is like, oh, okay, there it goes. If you ask me, like, would you, like, if I had 99 grand laying around, I'd get one of those 1-bedroom apartments, like right behind Esmeralda or like Trocadero, that area. And I would get one of those 1-bedroom apartments, just like a place to crash. You know what I mean? Like, how much is going to cost me a month for somebody to go in there and clean it up every so often? But I don't want to rent it out of it. Like, if it cost me like in HOAs and what, like 300 or less a month, like it'd be awesome to have just to crash there when we go out there. Like, that's what Bahia eBay is to me. So growing is a strong word because I think it's limited in space, but I think it's a great spot. It's beautiful. Everywhere here is beautiful. Will we get the tour? Yeah. I don't know if it's gonna be one video or multiple. I might do a series like Santiago day 1, Santiago day 2, Santiago day 3, but we shall see. Recently, I was in Playa Nueva Romana and was impressed with the community there. Jorge, thanks for that. Yeah, it's got a lot of potential too. That's kind of your Bahia eBay, San Pedro, but it's like out in that La Romana, San Pedro area. A lot of potential there. Not sure she's gonna like you dropping her. You're gonna hang on to both as long as you can. That's probably true. Let's see here. If you are single, here we go. We got another perspective. If you're single and depending on where you live, you can live very well on 6K, even 3K as a non-tour. Yeah, agreed, Doug. That's a great way of putting it. I like how all of you do a great job of taking my long form, like forever answers and condensing them down. So I appreciate that. you're married to a Dominican woman and she is not conservative, it may be worth pursuing. LOL. Or if you intend to marry a Dominican woman, she's not conservative. Let's see. I'm in front of Punta Bergantin. Mega project. If you buy now in Puerto Plata, wonderful investment. I agree with that. I truly, truly do. Are they really building the Ambar Highway? Richard, it does look like it. It's looking like that. Those of you like Doug, I know is in Santiago, if you've got an opinion on this, but it's been on, off. But again, guys, look, follow the money. When Grupo Punta Cana dug a hole in the ground a week or two ago for Punta Bergantin, there's a lot of incentive for the government to be like, okay, we will send, we will make sure that highway gets done now, right? Follow the money. And there's some stuff with like what Ranieri is doing, not only here, but like countrywide, that'll probably be announced soon. That's really interesting. They're putting a lot on him. They're putting a lot on him in a good way to really take this place to another level. So again, I'll share that as I get more. I can't share much about that right now. Las Carreras is underrated. That place has so much potential. I agree. I completely agree, Zink. It's beautiful there. We love Las Carreras. It's one of those like, oh, keep it the way it is because we want to go hang out there whenever we want to and it's not too developed. But for the people there that we talk to, specifically there, like the people that were managing Airbnb and the people that were the housekeepers there, when we stayed there, they were like, we need more people. We need more tourists. We want more, right? So a lot of American Dominicans are like, leave it alone. There's too much development. But the locals, many of them are like, I know it's going to make things more costly, but it gives us an opportunity to make money. We want that. So that's my experience, at least in that regard. All right. We're an hour and 36 minutes into this, guys. If there's any last minute questions, drop them. Please do. I like this new, but do you like this new format? Look, I'm going to do this again. Let me get rid of this. I go here and I go like this. Look, like and subscribe. But if there's any last minute questions, please ask them. If not, what's banners? I don't know what that is. Notes. I can take notes. People, comments. There's so much stuff here. This is really cool. If there's any last minute questions, I'm happy to take them. If you were on at the beginning, you heard my thoughts on the future of the economy and the future of real estate. I'm bullish on it. I do believe that the trade cooling is a good thing for the world in general. But we'll see what happens from there. Crypto, that's this thing, baby. My Shure SM7B is why he said quality of the sound is awesome. That's this thing right here. It's great. I appreciate all of you. Richard Laurent, wonderful information. I appreciate that. Let's see, where else would you travel besides DR? We went to Peru recently. It was awesome. We spent 10 days there. We traveled that whole country. I love Medellin, going to Colombia. We want to get to Argentina, and then I want to do a Europe tour. That's one of my next goals here. How do you see your last days in DR? How do I see my last days? What does that mean, Phoenix? I don't know if that's a threat. What does that mean? How do I see my last days in DR? Please clarify that. I believe we were talking last night on TikTok. No, it's not. Anybody on TikTok following me? If somebody reaches out to you to say, hey, what's up? That ain't me. I don't even know how to get into the DMs on TikTok. Like it's hard for me, but there are so many duplicate accounts. I'm trying to get blue check verified on TikTok. So many duplicate accounts there that are reaching out and trying to sell you crypto. Not me. They slow play it and then boom, they drop a crypto. Oh, hey man, I got this great opportunity. Not me. So when you see that, report it. If you message me on TikTok, there's a chance I reply, but that's it. The only thing I'm ever going to push, guys, is my inner circle anyway. And I would never do it like, hey, good to see you. Join my inner circle. I don't have, but I just think it's a great place for you to check out. And if you haven't done so, jamiegruber.com, check it out. My old days, true, Phoenix. I was starting to sweat inside. Like, are you outside my house? It's Halloween. Am I going to see like the Scream mask going on? My old days. Let me go back to your question and reread it now that we have context. Where did it go? Phoenix. I lost you, Phoenix. Hold on. What was your question? Oh, right here. How do you see your old days in the DR? How do I see them? Phoenix, I still need more. What do you mean by how do I see my old days? Like, meaning like, do I look back on when I first got here and how different is it from now? Is that what you mean? Let me know. Visit Liberia, Rodal, Calle 12 de Julio, 10 in Puerto Plata. Say hi to my uncle Roberto. Oh, Elvis, I shouldn't put that up there. Sorry about that. Guy was trying to sell me crypto last night. Yeah, no. I don't sell crypto. How was New Year? Oh, sorry. I saw that question earlier. We go to family friends. We go to friends' houses. Or we go to Higüey, to the Banana Ranch, which is my wife's uncle, Heriberto, his place. We go there and celebrate and then pass out. I know Playa Blanca has like a late night adult party on the beach. It starts at 11, I think, and goes to like 6 a.m. There's tons of stuff to do downtown. There's not like a ball drop, but fireworks and all that. It's a lot of fun. There's definitely, you'll find a party here. No doubt about it. I have one question. Crypto. Do you ever think Punta Cana will build a mini-sized crypto? No. Crypto, here's the track on that. In fact, what's the project? Moon Palace is like an exception, and a lot of people are mad about it. Thanks to Frank Ranieri, there's sort of like a formal, informal law that you can't build above 5 stories. He didn't want Cancun, and he didn't want Miami Beach, where you've got like, where it changes the landscape and causes a lot of beach crowding. So if you ever come to Punta Cana, all the buildings are 4 to 5 stories max for that reason. All the resorts, like it keeps beach crowding down, and it doesn't block the sun on sunset like those towers on Miami Beach or in Cancun. So no, I don't. There's a whole story about Moon Palace and then the one tower in Cap Cana, the brothers that own these. Like, not going to get into all of that. Nothing bad, but like that's like an exception. And I mean, it could, but I hope that it remains as is. 4 to 5 stories max. That's it. I hope there's not a mega skyscraper thing here like in Dubai. Plus the weather here, I think that would be risky. If anywhere, maybe Santo Domingo, maybe Santiago could build some sort of like, attraction that is a skyscraper. But right now, the coolest thing being built is the Frank Ranieri Cultural Center. That should be opening hopefully soon. It was supposed to be opening on his 80th birthday, which was last week. But check that out when you get here. That looks like it's going to be pretty cool. And by the way, I'm a big fan of Frank Ranieri because I'm a fan of visionaries. Dude had a huge vision and executed it to the point of what this is, meaning Punta Cana. So I'm a big fan of his, so I reference him quite a bit, and Grupo Punta Cana. I think they do it right. A-Rod Investing. Come on, man. Richard, where you been? You heard. I did that story on Instagram like a year ago. He's been bringing a group, about $1 billion worth of investment to Rio San Juan. It's going to be a big deal up there. Again, why Sosua is getting cleaned up. Punta Bergantin with Grupo Punta Cana, and A-Rod with Rio San Juan. You raised the question about your fear of being 90. How do I see my old days? Oh, I see. As an old man, I don't know. That's a great question. I don't see that far forward as to where I am if I'm here. People say like, oh, you're going to stay in DR forever. It's like, I don't know, for the foreseeable future, right? Like we're buying a house, like we bought a house. We're going to be living here for a while, but if we ever move back to the US, it'll be Boston. I think my wife's family, my family's in New York. Her family that is there is in Boston. I like the idea of Europe. I'd love to go to Switzerland for a year or two. Maybe we do that at some point later when our kids are a little older, or maybe when they're out of the house and doing their own thing. So I don't know. I just see, all I see with my old days to that story when I'm an old man is I want to be able to be like, man, I did it all. Like it's that One Republic song, I lived. Hope when that moment comes, you say, I did it. I did it all. I did it all. Yeah. I owned every something that this world could give. Saw so many places, the things that I did with every broken bone. I swear I lived. See, I sang for you guys. Let's see. Besides tourism and gold, there's not much economic activity in DR, in my opinion. Zinco, Booby. You got to keep an eye on semiconductors. You got to keep an eye on tech, medical device, and in Santiago, what's it called? Textile. World Emblem just moved their headquarters. They moved their production here, a big chunk of it from Mexico to Santiago. At the airport here, the logistics hub that's being built will bring 10,000 jobs. NVIDIA partnering with the Dominican government. Like, there's a lot, man. There's a lot going on. Tourism is huge. Gold is big, but there's a positioning here that will be big. What are the yearly property taxes in Punta Cana? That's not a Punta Cana thing. Property taxes are 1% of the value of the property over 170. So 250 grand, you'll pay $800 a year because 170 of value, no tax. You pay 1% from above 170. So 80,000, you pay 1% of that, 800. So if you have $1 million home, you'll pay like 8,300 a year on $1 million home, 300 a year. So in the country, 1% above about $170,000. Yeah, significant. Yeah, this is Doug. Doug, by the way, guys, like I know Doug. Doug's a good dude. I'm going to see him soon in Santiago. He's been here a long time. He's deep in the business community. When he says significant economic, believe him, not me. He's more plugged in than I am. I'm just sitting in my freaking thing making videos and talking to people. Like this dude knows. So there's a lot going on, Zinc. A lot. No, I can't, Elvin. I just like, I don't know. I'm just a goofball. I'm 40, as you get older, 47, you're like, whatever. Like I would never have done that on a microphone at 38. I would have been like, I'll have to find the lyrics, but like, screw it. You live once. And who's watching it an hour 44 in? Well, I guess 120 of you are, but all right, everybody. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of this day. I got a video to film. I got the inner circle to serve. We've got, one last thing. Sorry, before you go, one last thing I want to ask of you, if you don't mind. I'm going to drop this down here. We, at the inner circle community, join the inner circle. Go to this, jamiegruber.com, and then sign up. You can do $9 for a month. Cancel anytime. You can do $90 for the year. You save 2 months. If it's two of you, like husband and wife, you can do $15 a month for the two of you to get in, or $150 for the year, save 2 months. So either or, but that's how you do it. I did it my way. I like that, Michael. Yeah, look, I did it my way. I love that. And then HHBF8DQ said, sorry, I missed how to join your inner circle. One last thing, an ask of you. Don't feel obligated. The inner circle, Angel, one of the guys in the inner circle, local Dominican American who moved back here, found these 2 young Haitian boys that are homeless. We got them into school. We got them a home, and we've raised a couple $1,000s so far for them. Today, we found them an apartment. They're going to have a assigned to them that is paid for by the charity Second Mile Mission. So they're going to live in this place. They're too big for families to want to take. They're going to have a little apartment, and a tia is going to go over every day, a hired tia, to take care of them, make sure they have food, this, that, and the other, get them to school, the whole nine. Really cool story. And I know the Haitian Dominican thing, people get a little nuts, but we're raising money for them, for those 2 boys, David and Jason are their names. We're raising money for them to just take care of them for the next year. It's going to take more than a couple grand to put them in school, but we've got a ton of support, and the inner circle has already raised much money. There's the link. Or just go to the Second Miles Missions website. It's a not-for-profit charity. It's run by a friend of mine, Caleb. If you want to watch the video I just did on them, it released yesterday on my YouTube channel. It's 12 minutes long, guys. Watch it. You'll get a sense of them. You'll see Caleb, meet Caleb. If you're willing to donate 20, 30, 50, $100, whatever. Right now, we're trying to get 2 mattresses, $100 each, a little stove, like a camper stove. That's like $50. And what else was there? 2 mattresses, $100 each, a little camper stove. I wrote it down. Hold on. Let me tell you, I talked to Caleb earlier today. I love helping these kids. A mini fridge and a chair for the tia, so she can sit down when she's there watching the boys, like a comfy chair. So I don't know, a few $100, if we can raise a few $100 on this live, amazing. And if you want to jump into the inner circle, I would love to have you. We're almost at 500 members. So like maybe we'll hit the 500 member threshold here, which would be amazing. Guzman, Second Mile Missions, you can donate to them. I'm going to type it in here. They're based in Friusa. And just go to their website, or you can DM me on Instagram and I can get you a contact. You can't do DMs on YouTube or whatever. DM me on Instagram and I can get you a contact to donate stuff if you'd like to. But if you guys are willing to, it's truly appreciated. I like the inner circle. It's cool. Like the Punta Cana thread. We have all these. I'll show you. We have all these threads. I get excited about this on the inner circle. So here's the inner circle, right? And we have all these threads like, what is it? Real estate investing, life in Punta Cana, the inner circle official chat, the market. This is like people marketing their stuff, whether it's real estate deals or whatever. Life in Santo Domingo, life in El Cibao, like Jarabacoa, that area. Somebody just messaged something. It just vibrated. Get out of there. I don't know what that is. Puerto Plata, Samaná, the boardwalk stuff, legacy. So, because a lot of people invested in that Miches deal, we have a chat for that. And then we've got, we just put together one for like families and one for retired people, right? So we got all these chats and people are constant. Look, I mean, I just looked at these before we started. It's 13 missed in one, 14 in another, so on and so forth. Such an active community of people, but the Punta Cana one just like lit up with support for these kids. I would love that. I would love that if all of you could do it. So I'll drop the link here in case it didn't pop up, to donate specifically on the campaign for David and Jason. You can see it for the future of David and Jason. It's true. Oh, here, sorry, I'll click right here. It's truly on my heart to help these 2 boys. And then who knows what we do. Like Second Mile Mission has Haitian, Dominican, Venezuelan kids or whatever in their schools. I envision the inner circle becoming like a big brother, big sister club at some point, right? Like imagine if once a month we're able to get 8, 10, 15 kids off the street and help them and give them clothing and give them a leg up and give them education. Like I love it. I'm so excited. You can probably tell I'm so excited about it. So there you go. Joel, how much did you pay for your new house? I don't like sharing this publicly. Let me put it this way. It's the most I ever paid for a house. And the last house I bought was 400 grand. So it's the most I ever paid for a house. And the last house in Michigan I bought was 400 grand. So more than that. If that gives you a sense. I pay taxes every 6 months on 3 houses in Ciudad La Palma. There you go. So yeah, you do pay it every 6 months. 50, I think it's 50%, but that's how that goes. Joel, it's not cheap, but it's worth it. 700K. I'm not disclosing, guys. I'm not disclosing. Don't even try. Some people were like, "Are we going to get a house tour?" I'm like, "No, man. Look, I'll give you everything. I'll give you all the information I can, but like where my family lives, you'll see it in some videos. That like naturally there'll be a background, but I'm not showing like where my kids sleep and all that. Just feels weird to me. So no, I'm not doing that. But I understand the curiosity. Trust me, I completely get it. No, it's not 700 grand, Elvin. That's not the number. He said, yeah, that's the number. Last day on the beach with the Presidente. Good for you, Doug. But let's not talk about that. I don't know what the zinc thing. Yep, that's the number. No, it's not. That's not the number. That is not the number. It's not 700. But anyway, we're at the witching hour. This 2 hours. I guess these lives go like this. My buddy in Jamaica, Throp, he does these. He's my inspiration for these. He's like, dude, I go 2-3 hours sometimes just hanging with people. So, and I get why. This is cool. And I could share your comments now. And I could do this, like and subscribe. I could say to you, welcome. I could say, hey, it's Q&A time. Q&A. I could say, hey, achievement achieved. Oh, breaking news. There's more. Oh, wait, this is if I have to go to the bathroom. Ready? Be right back. This is fun. I think there's a whiteboard I got to do. Oh, there's a Halloween pack. Let's see what this Halloween pack has. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Check that out. We got a spooky frame, candy border, and there you go. Can I move that? No, I can't move that around on the screen. A lot of fun. $150 is still 100 plus of you. I really appreciate you sticking around. Guys, last thing I'll say, and then I'll let you go for real. I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know how to deal with the fact that there are 500 people in the inner circle. I don't know how to deal with the fact that all these people came to the rescue of these 2 young boys. I met people today again that said, man, we moved here because we were watching your stuff. And I literally multiple times a week hear that. I don't know how to deal with that. I really don't. I don't know how to internalize that. Like my ego is like, oh yeah, you're the man. But the other side of me is like, come on, I just make videos. Right. So thank you is the point. Like from the bottom of my heart, I love being able to do this. And as you guys see me talking about like join the inner circle or whatever, yeah, there's a money angle for me for sure. Use my contacts. They pay me a referral fee. I want to spend more time doing this because I really enjoy this. That's my take on it. Let me just see real quick, a couple more of these. If you're buying a house in Dominican Republic, you're paying for the house in US dollars for the house that we bought. And most houses in Punta Cana are going to be US dollars. So yeah, Ediberto said, Tony, it's in dollars. I missed it. So is it going to crash? Boy, I don't think it is. I think the real estate market, I think the world economy in Q1, Q2 next year. Jesus, Joel. I'm going to put up Joel's comment. It's funny, but it makes me roll my eyes, Joel, here in a second. But I don't think it's going to crash. I think Q1, I think we're going to see like a little bit of turbulence over the next few weeks because the Fed said they're not going to raise rates or lower rates likely by the end of the year. They may not. But I think Q1, Q2, China, all that works out. China, US is already kind of cooling down. I think we're going to see a period of prosperity. But even if we don't, the point I made was that DR is hedging by going up market with luxury, and you're seeing more and more luxury come in here. So we're still getting record visitors despite the US visiting less. It's a world-based economy here, meaning it's a world-influenced economy. It's not reliant on US, China only. Like other countries, South America, they all come. DR can cater to BRICS nations and dollar nations. It really doesn't matter. This is the funny thing. You're the only Trumpist I respect. I don't know. I really don't get, I shouldn't say that. When I lived in the US, I understood being categorized by the politician. Living here, guys, honestly, in 3 years, like I can see it whenever I go back there. And when I look back into the country, my wife sees it like, wow, that's how they organize. If you feel certain ways, wait, A plus B, Trump. C plus D, Biden. Like that's just how Americans see things. And I'm American, but I'm Americans in America or people living in America. If you're living outside of America, this makes no sense to me. I'll consider myself a conservative all day. I don't mind saying that at all. I think that's accurate, but he's a guy. I'm not his freaking cult member, guys. Like, if all of you are on one side or the other, God bless, please don't. But not a Trumpist. But Joel, I love you. I love you. And that is funny. You're the only Trumpist I respect. Here it is. You're an inspiration for many. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Love your videos. So funny. I'm somewhat funny. I got to tell my wife that. People think I'm funny. Today, I said something. I did it was one of those like guy jokes. She was like, "Oh, I just want a piece of meat." And I was like, you know what I said? I got a piece of meat, right? Like, so I think that's hilarious. She may not agree, but I think I'm funny. I'm grateful to receive such useful information. You are very welcome. This was one last thing I just saw. Mortgages are high because the Dominican peso is 4% inflation or so. Yeah, that's fair. She loves those dad jokes. Actually, she doesn't, Zing, but that's okay. All right. Peace to all of you. Appreciate you. My 2 asks: check out the Inner Circle. The website just takes you can review it, jump in, check it out, and then you'll get an email. Check spam, check your promotions. If you don't, let me know. You can DM me, but join the Inner Circle, check your email, check your spam, check your promotions. Make sure you put the right email address in. People are like, I never got it. And I send it back like, is this your email? They're like, oh, sorry, I missed a letter there, right? So the right one. But if you need, it's collab@jamiegruber.com. I'll put that here at jamiegruber.com. Any issues when you join, and email there. She'll get you everything. The biggest thing you could do in that email, it says reply with your WhatsApp number and we'll add you to the WhatsApp community. Do that. That's the nerve center. The Facebook group is nowhere near as engaged as the WhatsApp. It's still some engagement there, but it's the WhatsApp community. So check that out. I appreciate you. I'm going to Halloween now. I'll see you guys. Have a great one.